I have to say that I am really very encouraged by the depth of conversation we're having here today and the broad stroke of speakers that we have here today. Just leadership matters. That is the one single refrain from everybody who is here today and speaking. But the next speaker that we really have coming up is a leader in the community that has cleared the way for many others who look like me, who look like Senator Hollier, to come behind him. He is a gentleman who leads and creates the space so that we can become what we want to be. And he's here tonight to speak to us about how to keep ourselves safe as we exercise our civic duty of voting. He's here tonight to speak to us about the importance of it and some of the processes involved. It is an honor and a privilege to have him speak to us here tonight. He is the sheriff of Wayne County, the largest county in the great state of Michigan. And he's here tonight to speak to us. And this really shows to anybody who is standing on the sideline how the Democratic Party regards our community, the high esteem to which the party holds our community, the high esteem and the high offices that we hold in the community through the Democratic Party. I speak of none other than the Honorable Sheriff Benny N. Napoleon. The floor is yours, sir. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Unmute yourself, please. Sir.
I got it. There
Okay.
it is. I was trying and it wasn't working. Thank you so much for that very kind and generous introduction. Thank you to all who are with us tonight. I'd like to give a very special acknowledgement to Senator Hollier, who is without question one of the brightest stars, not just in the city of Detroit or state of Michigan, but throughout this great land that we call America. He eloquently stated the condition and the mission that we are in today. We talked a lot about Michigan and being a battleground state, and I've lived in Michigan my entire life. I've been a part of the political structure in the city of Detroit and Wayne County now since 1975. And honestly, I never really considered this state as a battleground state. We have been historically strong when it comes to a labor state, and this state has been blue with the exception of a few hiccups. One of those hiccups happened 2 years ago in 2016. But this is a state of about 9 million people, about 1.3 million of those are African-American, or 14%, I would say. In my area geographically, there are about 1.75 million people, and 700,000 of those are folks who look like us, so about 40% of them come from our community. I was privileged to have an election in August and won about 80% of the vote throughout this vast county. And for that, I'm very grateful. But it shows that with the kind of work that we need to do, we can get people to get out and get them to vote the way we need them to vote. We all know someone who does not and did not vote in 2016. The challenge for us is to take them if we have to, drag them if we have to, carry them if we have to get them to vote. That is how serious this is. Some of us, unfortunately, don't recognize the magnitude of the moment. And this moment is clearly greater than any moment that I've experienced in my very considerable life at this point. And we need to focus on making sure that we get folks out and that they get to the polls. And it's my job and the jobs of folks like me to make sure that the polls are going to be safe. I can tell you that unequivocally, the polls throughout Michigan will be safe. The governor has made that a top priority of hers. I certainly have made it a priority of mine for here in the state of, in the county of Wayne, along with the city of Detroit and the other 42 communities. We will have a safe environment for folks who choose to go on election day to vote. We will have a safe election environment. I'm confident of that. When it comes to that, we have done some things that are pretty important here. I'm one of the few sheriffs in the state of Michigan who has taken an active role in registering the people who are inmates. They are still allowed to vote. And if they are allowed to vote, we're doing everything we can to encourage them to vote. So we've had the NAACP in my jail for many weeks now, registering people, encouraging to vote. And I had a revelation last night, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to pull this off this election cycle, but I tell you, I'm going to work very hard in future election cycles to bring the polls into the jail so that they don't have to vote absentee, but have a poll station in each one of my 3 jails. We're going to make it as convenient for people to vote in that environment as it is possible. Most important election of my life. I know you hear that at every election, but I can tell you unequivocally, if this were a novel and someone had put it out to be read, no one would buy it because they would never think that this kind of stuff could happen in America. They would say you have taken too much literary, you just take it too much latitude. These kinds of things. When you see what's happening today on the national stage and the leadership, it's hard to even imagine that these kinds of things could exist. So it's really important that we get excited about this. We have a great ticket. We need to make sure that we get excited about it here in the state of Michigan. We're going to take Michigan. We proved that 2 years ago when we went and swept all of the Republicans out of office. We took every statewide office in this state back in 2018, and I'm confident that we have the wherewithal to do the same thing this year. But the election has to be the victory, not just in Michigan, but throughout this country. It's going to have to be overwhelming, because anything short of that, the Republicans are going to do everything they can to challenge this, to challenge the election. They are going to do it just as sure as we're all on this Zoom call. So we need to do everything we can to make sure that we demonstrate to not just the country, but to the world, that what we see happening in America today is not the America that it should be, or not the America that it will be. So thank you all so much. Again, to Adam, he is a phenomenal young man. We look forward to having great things come from you, and stay in touch. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sheriff Napoleon. We are encouraged and we're confident about our safety and about our ability to go out there and exercise our civic duty safely, especially in Wayne County. And that's a lot of thanks to you. And I know my partner, Janine, is looking at me going, Felix, what are you doing? But I just wanted to say something right quick, plus you're on mute, Janine. A number of our followers are on Facebook and they're asking for acknowledgement. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge. I think we're getting to a little over 1,000 on Facebook, and I want to be sure that I acknowledge you to hang in there with us. We appreciate your support. We're listening to you as we're listening to all the comments and questions that you're posting. Hopefully we'll have a moment to get to that. And I ask everyone watching tonight, if you're on Zoom, and the many more who are on Facebook, text ADB 30330. That way you're able to get all the updates on African Diaspora for Biden. You're able to get updates on all the beautiful policy positions that the Biden-Harris ticket has for our community. And you're able to get the latest information on the most effective and efficient ways to communicate with the campaign and let your voice be heard. And again, I have to say this right quick again, and Janine, you got to unmute yourself or I'm going to keep going. The first thing that I have to say is that there are really 3 components to this campaign. The greatest of them all is your vote. The second thing about that is how do we work through the process of getting those votes in? part of it is phone banking. And I ask you to follow us, text ADB. ADB means African Diaspora for Biden, to 30330. That is how you know how we're phone banking, because that's how we get folks to be engaged and involved. The third of this tripartite is money. Campaign don't run on fumes. No amount is too small, no amount is too big. This is not about money, this is about votes. But sometimes it costs money to wrangle those votes. And that's about it. Hello, Facebook. We hear you. We acknowledge your questions. Text ADB 30330. Jay, floor is yours.
Right. Thanks for that, Felix. That was an important interlude, so all is forgiven.